Ethan Cole boarded the plane quietly, dressed in a dark hoodie, clean sneakers, and neat jeans. Around his neck hung a pair of sleek headphones, and in his hand he held a slim black phone. He was 17 years old, calm by nature, raised to never draw attention to himself. He walked down the aisle of the first-class cabin with confidence, but not arrogance. He wasn't showing off. He wasn't loud. He just knew this was his seat-to-window view, just like he preferred. He placed his bag in the overhead bin, sat down, and pulled out a book. A few passengers glanced at him, then looked away. To them, he was just another teenager traveling alone. Ethan didn't mind being invisible. He was used to it. A few minutes later, a flight attendant entered the cabin. Her name was Karen Mitchell, late 40s, crisp uniform, hair pulled into a tight bun. She moved down the aisle with sharp steps, pausing briefly to greet other passengers with practiced smiles. But when she saw Ethan, her expression changed. Her steps slowed. Her eyes scanned him from head to toe. No smile this time. She stopped beside his seat and tilted her head. "Excuse me," she said loud enough for others to hear. "Are you sure you're supposed to be here?" Ethan looked up, confused. "Yes, ma'am." Her arms folded. "Can I see your ticket, please?" He nodded and pulled it from his hoodie pocket. She snatched it without a word. Her eyes narrowed as she read it, then flicked back to his face, then to the ticket, then back again. "This is a first-class ticket," she said slowly. "I know," he replied. She paused. "Are you flying with someone?" He shook his head. "No." She blinked hard. "So you're traveling alone in first class?" Ethan said nothing. He knew where this was going. Karen leaned in slightly, her tone sharper. "I think there's been a mistake. You can't sit here. This seat is for first-class passengers only." Ethan's chest tightened. "I'm a first-class passenger." "Listen," she snapped. "You're holding things up. I don't know how you got this ticket, but you need to move to the back now." Ethan stayed seated. His voice was calm. "This is my seat." Her jaw tensed. "Get up." When he didn't move fast enough, she reached for his phone resting on the armrest, and in the process, her hand smacked his hard enough to make a loud slap. A few passengers gasped. One woman covered her mouth. A man nearby shifted uncomfortably in his seat, pretending to check his watch. But no one spoke. Ethan stared at her for a second, stunned. Not from pain, but from sheer disbelief. Then he stood. He didn't shout. He didn't argue. He just picked up his backpack, pulled his hood forward, and walked back down the aisle. All eyes followed. He found an empty seat in the last row of the plane. The economy seat was smaller, tighter, with a broken armrest. He didn't care. He sat down, slid his phone in his lap, and took a deep breath. The soft vibration of a message buzzed against his hand. He unlocked the screen and typed one line. "She slapped my hand and kicked me out. I'm in the back." He hit send. Then he looked out the window. Outside, the runway stretched ahead like nothing had changed. But inside, something had. And Ethan knew this wasn't the end. Not even close. In a high-rise office tower miles away, a man in a navy suit with salt and pepper hair read the message. His name was James Walker Billionaire, owner of several tech companies, investment firms, and the largest share in the airline Ethan was on. He was also Ethan's father. He didn't slam the desk. He didn't raise his voice. He picked up the phone and pressed a number. "Flight 672, he said. "Seat 2A. There's been an incident. Ground the plane. Now." Back on the plane, Karen Mitchell poured herself a cup of coffee, feeling proud. That teenager had been a disruption. He didn't look right for first class. She didn't feel guilty. "Was there a problem with his ticket?" asked Avery Brooks, a younger attendant. "Did you see him?" Karen scoffed. "Tell me he didn't look out of place." "But he had the right seat." Karen laughed. "Probably borrowed the ticket. We can't have that nonsense." Just then, the intercom crackled. "Karen Mitchell, please report to the cockpit." She froze. Avery looked confused. "That's... Ut." Karen forced a smile. Probably routine. But in the cockpit, Captain Ree Hammond wasn't smiling. A small screen displayed a man with piercing eyes. "Karen Mitchell," the voice said. "I'm David Harper, Director of Flight Operations. We received a call from Executive Command. There was an incident with a passenger in Seat 2A. "Yes, sir," Karen said, throat dry. There was a seating issue. I corrected it. Did you verify his ticket? I glanced at it. Did you verify? She swallowed. No, sir. I didn't confirm with the manifest. That was Ethan Walker, the captain said, son of James Walker. And we've received direct instructions. This flight is grounded until this is resolved. Karen's face drained of color. You will apologize to Mr. Walker in front of all passengers. You will escort him back, then report back to this cockpit, where you're done. When she walked down the aisle, every passenger was watching. She reached the back of the plane, found Ethan, and said softly, Mr. Walker, there's been a misunderstanding. Please allow me to escort you back to your original seat. Ethan didn't move. I want to apologize, she added. It wasn't handled properly. Ethan finally looked at her. A misunderstanding? You looked at me and decided I didn't belong. You didn't check anyone else's ticket. Just mine. She had no words. He stood. I'll go back. But not because you told me to. Because it's my seat. And he walked, calm, past the rows of watching faces. Some ashamed. Some amazed. Karen stood by, trembling, as Ethan sat back in 2A. He opened his book and began to read. The moment passed, but the silence did not. Back in the galley, she was ordered off the flight. The captain informed her. This came from the top. You'll be debriefed. Security is waiting. She signed a removal form with shaking hands. As she walked off the plane, not a single passenger looked away. Ethan didn't smile. He just watched. Then he picked up his phone. A new message from his father. The footage is out. You made your point. Now sit back. I'll handle the rest. Ethan typed back. She apologized. But I don't think she gets it. She will. The world is watching now. As the plane finally took off, the quiet wasn't relief. It was reckoning. And Ethan Cole Walker, seated in 2A, had changed everything without ever raising his voice.